But on the other front, Disney's dealing with a bit of a problem. You can call this a hell of a PR problem. And it's been brought up here a few times in the super chat, so let's jump to those. Wift sends in 11 Canadian bucks and says, Jonathan Majors' text from his girlfriend came out and it's not going as well as he probably thought it would. What's your guys' thoughts? Well, I don't know if you've been on Twitter at all, Wift, but yeah, a good friend of mine actually posted that like it was, speaking of slam dunks, and acting like that was some sort of slam dunk. And I'm like, I'm not so sure this says what you think it says after you read through it. Because from my interpretation of the texts, which are out there, we're not going to go reading through the whole thing because it's just like a page worth of text. Basically, but my interpretation of it was this, is that she just confirmed everything the original report said. The only thing she said that was nothing really was said that was we didn't already know. She just kept saying, you didn't attack me, or it wasn't an attack. She didn't say that they didn't fight. She didn't say that he didn't get physical. She didn't say that she lied in these texts. And in fact, as far as I was concerned, in my opinion, the last chunk of text sounded like something a lawyer would tell you to say. In fact,
it was interesting to see the change in wording and sentence structure and stuff like that. General syntax from one text to the other. It's like, whoa, his girlfriend really must have read up on legal matters before writing that second text. Tell you what.
I mean, really, all it did was, in my opinion, support the original report that came out, that she grabbed for his phone. They got physical. She went to the doctor because of her injuries. That's why the cops got involved. They were charges made because clearly they felt there was enough to go on. They keep claiming there's video and this other evidence, but yet all they've released is a statement saying this stuff. And this set of text messages, which again, Mikey, what do you think about them?
I think that the selection of the text messages can't really be taken
That's another thing, yeah,
comprehensively because we don't have context. These are selected text messages released by defense counsel with their client in order to achieve whatever PR and legal goals they have. We don't have, it's not like we have a transcript of all the text messages from moment A to moment Z that would provide important context in order to understand what these say, really.
So, yeah, and then the other part, I'm curious to hear about Andre's take on it, because he felt, at least the other day when we heard about the 911 call coming from him the night before, you felt that actually helped his case. I would argue now that what she put in this text doesn't help that now.
She completely undermined that.
Go ahead.
Undermined that because right now, like before, we were left with an impression that he was dealing with an Amber Heard that started a fight with him. After that text, it looks like we are still dealing with that, but we are now also dealing with he finished what that Amber Heard started. That's what it looks like right now. And that still puts him in the hot seat.
Well, and the 911 call didn't come from their altercation. That was what I was referring to. Because that was we were assuming. That's what we were assuming the day we heard about it. But now we hear that he called 911 because she collapsed and passed out. Which tells us that if we go by what the cab driver said, then that is true. What we were thinking the other night is that he, even though he was dropped off at a separate place, went back to their residence after the fact, which is probably where the harassment charges come in.
Definitely not suspicious.
Yeah. So again, this is not looking good for him. Again, innocent until proven guilty, but I don't think this text message helped much. Script, did you read up on this? I know you've been so busy with work. I doubt you even had a chance.
I only perused a little bit of it. The only thing that really shocked me, aside from the situation of the violence, is the fact that Jonathan Majors is 33 years old. I thought he was 40, 45, 48. He looks way older than he actually is. That's about it. I mean, what type of early 30-year-old man has that many forehead wrinkles?
Wow.
Seriously, like he looks a lot older than he actually is.
He really does. In fact, when he was playing the character that he played, what was the movie he just did that I watched?
Creed.
Before that,
Quantumania.
dedication, deliberation. What was it called?
Emancipation.
Emancipation.
No, the movie,
Oh.
the airplane movie, the
Oh,
Korean
plane.
war. Huh?
No,
Wait,
the war
the
movie.
airplane movie.
Korean, the war. Wasn't he? Didn't he star in that? Wasn't that him?
Devotion?
Devotion.
Devotion.
Oh, okay.
I thought he looked
Jesus,
too old.
script
I
wrote
thought
me
he
a
looked
Coke.
too old to play the part of a 22-year-old or 20-year-old fighter pilot.
Yeah.
He looked like a 42-year-old guy.
I guess they were pulling a 90210 and we didn't even know it. But Wartooth brings up basically what I was thinking. Like, Jonathan Majors needs to fire his lawyer. Yeah, because this is not looking good at this point.
Isn't this
I
the
will
same
say
lawyer
this.
that said that they had video, but to this day
hasn't
Yes.
released it yet? That's what I've been
Yes.
saying. Where's the video?
Yes, I will say this for his lawyer, though, because the lawyer came out right away basically saying this is all bullshit. He's arrested purely on formality. There ain't nothing here, nothing to see. Move along. We even have a video proving that he is completely innocent, and that's in addition to 2 sworn statements and a redactment from the alleged victim. So basically, the lawyer made it sound like, well, again, like a slam dunk. And I understand why. Because the lawyer of Majors knows perfectly well that her job isn't just to get her client out of jail or to limit the sentence. It is to keep him in the MCU and to keep getting him millionaire paychecks. Now, that means that she needs to send the message right away to all potential Hollywood partners, any sponsors, anyone who's in talk with him right now in this moment, so that they don't pull out like the army guys did over that army ad. She needs to send the message powerfully, not to us, but to the sponsors by way of the media. There ain't nothing to see here, so you just keep on your deals. Don't pull out. Just carry on as usual, because this will all be over before you know it.
Well,
that's why she did it. I don't think that she did anything wrong. Of course, it's going to look really, really bad if there is no such video. And that is where we are right now. But still, I don't fault the lawyer for doing that, because if she hadn't, they might have lost so many sponsor deals, which probably going to be lost now anyway.
Well, from an industry perspective, let me ask, well, all of you, your industry watchers, at what point does this case become a liability and they've got to move on?
It is already.
Oh.
And in fact, I disagree a little bit with Andre's assessment on this. The only thing I will say is, yes, she worded it correctly in her initial thing, but it should have came with that video, because that's the first thing everybody started questioning.
Yeah.
Okay, you say you have it,
existed,
but where is it? And then this is the first thing you drop, and this is why I agree with Wartooth here, is like, if this, and I actually thought about becoming a lawyer at one point. If I was a lawyer, I'd fire myself, because this is the worst fucking thing I could have released.
Yeah, if you
next to almost like a damning video. Right. Well, no, just this text message thing. Because to me, like, all it does is, like I said, support exactly what we heard from the first reports. And if anything, like I said, it doesn't have her saying I lied. It doesn't, say anything like that. It does confirm that there was an altercation. She says straight up, they know we fought. Meaning they knew that they got physical with each other. And again, we did give them the benefit of the doubt that she obviously started it, and they both probably got physical. But you're talking about the difference here between, a woman who weighs about $105 probably, and a big guy like him, right? So, like, I could see where he ended it, like he said too. And again, to me, this is just not looking good for him. And in fact, this is where I'll say this: I've been hearing rumors already, from a couple places, that they're already considering what their action is going to be with this situation at Disney.
Script, do you concur?
I don't know. All I know is that, yes, I agree that
I can understand him not wanting to comment. Sorry.
I definitely agree that the text messages do not help Mr. Majors at all. And that's as far as I really want to comment on this, because I think that this should go the full route of investigation so that if there is guilt, he can be tried fairly. And if there isn't, at least he'll face a fair trial and be exonerated. It's unfortunate, but you just have to rely on that aspect of the system, which unfortunately is not as transparent as we'd like it to be.
No, and I agree with Script in the sense that, I mean, innocent until proven guilty, especially in the time of Me Too. That's one of the main reasons why I'm, giving the guy a big shot at this. And I agree. Like, if I was his lawyer, though, that's the first thing I would have done is just set out a little statement and not put out anything else, not made any more statements other than that, not made any magic promises. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure neither one of them look good on the tape. But the problem is nobody's going to give a shit about her unless it's a Johnny Depp situation. And if he turns around and puts his hands on her at any moment in that video, he is fucked. End of discussion. Doesn't matter, right? Like, because we live in this world where, rules for thee and not for me, especially when it comes for men and women arguing. And we all know this as men on the panel, I'm sure, right? Your woman can say and do a lot of shit, but the last thing you're ever supposed to do is put your fucking hands on her. End of discussion, right? Like, even if you got to leave first. And if it gets that bad, then you call the goddamn cops, right? Like, we've been taught that much.
Yeah, even if she gets physical first, I mean, there's tolerance for that, not the other way around.
Leave
if you can.
If you can, leave. Right. I mean, if she's got a gun, then you got to defend yourself. I'm not saying that, but I mean, like, run.
but other than that, you defend yourself. You're the one who's screwed.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I'm trying to say here. Is in this case, and this is where people have been joking about it, but him coming out of the closet as like bisexual or non-binary or something like that will help his case. It might actually in this situation, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it. I don't know if it actually would help him much though. But
well, in this case, I mean, just look over to DC, and you do have a they them who has turned out to be very difficult to get rid of, despite basically being a full-on cult.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have that to back him up right now. That's a thing. And that's why I will give him the benefit of the doubt. And just like Maverick Christian says here, after Depp heard, I'm suspending judgment with Majors. And I'm not trying to be judgy either. Yeah. I'm just coming from the situation of this is the way it looks to the public. And this is what all that Disney gives a shit about. At the end of the day, they're not going to give a shit if he's innocent or guilty when this shit's happening in the public eye the way it is. The more the lawyer talks about it, the more the lawyer releases, the more people are seeing, the more they're talking about it still, the more it's trending. And at the end of the day, we're starting to get more and more reports about his behavior outside of this that was even talked about prior to that. So as Disney, I think they have to take that more into consideration right now than anything else, because this is a PR fucking nightmare right now. You have the guy who is set up to be your big bad lead in the Marvel universe for God knows how many years going forward here. And you have some of the worst shit possible happening right now outside of, maybe killing somebody, right? Like, or diddling a kid or something. Because, like, at this point, how do you get out of this? This is worse than the Johnny Depp situation. Because the difference here is Johnny didn't get arrested for anything. You didn't have a bunch of people coming out of the woodwork going, oh, yeah, Johnny did this and Johnny hit this person. I saw Johnny do that. No, to the contrary, you had everybody coming to his defense, right? And again, there you had two very famous people duking it out in a public eye. Here you have somebody who's basically somebody who's being protected already by the police. So nobody knows anything about her. All we know is that she lives with him. That's it. Right? So again, I'm trying to keep it an open mind here, knowing that she's clearly, somebody who we don't know anything about. So I got to keep that in mind too. But from a PR standpoint, from Disney, from that questioning, I don't see any other choice other than either recasting or finding a way to move away from Kang.
They're going to want to wait until the courts make a decision. Yeah, but I agree. There's
publicly
really bad things here. And that is one, there's an actual prosecution going on. And two, before even that, as you said, with Johnny Depp, the industry turned on him instantly. But that was the industry. Everyone who knew him came out in his defense. What happened with Majors? The opposite. I didn't see anyone coming out.
I was just going to say, here we have a clip of all the defenders right now.
And no one's defending him being a real 33-year-old. I still stand by the fact that he is lying about his age.
Thank you, Script, for getting us out of there.
This guy looks really old.
Oh, I was gonna go there earlier, but I'm like, is that too racist to say? So never mind. Script said it anyway.
Well, this is
Cancel
we
me.
have
I don't care.
conversations.
I just want to know if he really was born in 1990 because I don't think he was.
Maybe he really is Kang.
Script, are you saying that people in Hollywood might actually lie about their age and their height and things like that?
Not as egregious as Jonathan Majors, it appears. Like, I can understand a couple of years. Like, Tom Cruise doesn't lie about his age anymore or his height, but at least we know. Yeah, he's definitely in his 60s. But Jonathan Majors, I'm like, yeah, I swear he looks like he's in his 40s. Just does. I could not believe that he would be of equal age to Michael B. Jordan in the Creed movie. That's one of the reasons, aside from the lack of Sly, that I didn't watch it.
Well, that's what I always thought was dumb about the whole thing with making him an illegitimate child. It was like Michael B. Jordan is old enough to be one of his real kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why are you doing this? Like,
you could do a great angle, which is one of the reasons why Apollo didn't take the exhibition fight too seriously, is that he had sex with his wife the night before, which you're not supposed to do before a fight, and that was
there you go.
Adonis's conception right then and there.
Well, as a result, well, he wasn't taking it that seriously anyway. So because of that, yeah, you're right. He made that mistake, and that could have been just something she mentioned that, yeah, I was pregnant with him. It didn't even have to be that way. It could just been one of the other kids. He had young enough
the
kids
day of his
too.
funeral. There you go.
Either way, yeah. Anyway.